guys, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited again because today we are talking about something a little unusual because this is not something I do on my channel, but we all have seen Meghan Markle's interview. I know you have, I know you have. So did I. And well, I know you guys have opinions on that, and so do I. So I just thought, let me maybe make a video and share my opinions on this because there is certain things that we can learn from Meghan Markle, and I would like to discuss what those things are, and also I would like to discuss what I actually thought about the interview. Okay, so let's get into this. Before we get into the video, make sure you do subscribe to the channel. We're gonna kill it this year, okay? So help me beat the algorithm. Now let's get straight into the video. So, we've seen the interview, we've seen they were finely dressed and very well spoken, and they've said a lot of things kind of very indirectly, if that makes sense. Okay, number one thing that I noticed was I like and I dislike at the same time how Meghan Markle always manages to be a victim. In every scenario, who's the victim? It's her. Always. It always has been. She knows how to play that card. She would either bring race into it or she would just say, well, oh, I'm an outsider, so, you know. And she tends to get away with that. And when we're talking about being a victim, I really want to know, okay, we understand the tabloid part, we understand the magazines, everybody, I don't know, fully on her case, we understand that. But other than that, how are you always the victim? Tell me that. You married into the royals. Nobody forced you, right? Didn't you know what comes with that territory? Oh, wait. Oh, yes, she always acts like she didn't know. She never Googled the royals. She never had any idea about them. Like, this is how she always comes across as. And it's like, okay, let's just accept the fact that you didn't know what you're getting yourself into. But are you really that dumb? No, you're not dumb. You know why? Because you always know how to play the Princess Diana card. How comes you know so much about Diana, but then at the same time you don't know about the rest of the family and the protocols and the policies that come with it? It feels a little unusual. Does that make sense? Well, a little disclaimer here. I am not a hater. I think I've always kind of liked her. You know, I think she seems very, she seems like an advocate for women. She talks a lot about women's rights and stuff like that. So it's amazing. It's all great. She is a beautiful woman. She's been an actress. So she was already making her coins on her own also. So that's great. I love an independent woman, right? But getting into this, you can't act like you really had no clue about anything at all because you're not that dumb, right? You're not silly, you're not a teenager, you're not even in your 20s. You know how when you were young and dumb, you make a lot of mistakes because you were so unaware, you were so naive. So in your 20s, when you say that, you can get away with that. But once you're in your like 30s and 40s, you better not say stuff like that because you have to be responsible for your choices, for your decisions, for your marriage, for your relationship choices, for your lifestyle choices, and whatever you do, you're the one who's responsible. You cannot hold anybody else accountable for that. So her always playing the victim in this whole damn scenario from the get-go, from the beginning, it's just getting a little too much now. And can we also just, by the way, talk about Oprah? Again, I have always been a big fan. I think the things that she's always been discussing, the things that she's herself gone through, I think it's very inspirational. It's great. It's amazing. We've all learned so much from Oprah. We all love Oprah. But at the same time, in this interview, I just felt like, why is she acting so over the top? You know, like that part where she said, were you silenced or were you silenced? It's like, duh, calm down. What's going on? I don't understand. I just didn't like that whole fake, I mean, I shouldn't really say fake because then I sound like a hater, but like that artificial body language and like, you know, exaggerated statements and stuff. I'm like, oh my god. It was a little cringeworthy, if you ask me. I don't know how you feel about this, but that's just what I thought, okay? So don't hate me for that and don't come for me. I live in London myself. We all pay taxes here. We always want to know what's going on with the royals, okay? Because guess whose money they're taking? Exactly. And the royals, as we all know, are always public servants, right? So, there you go. So you all have a right to know what's going on with them. The first day the interview came out, I'm like, oh, I'm not sure if I'm going to be bothered anyway because I don't really talk about subjects like that. But then I thought maybe I should watch it. Since everybody's talking about it, maybe I should have my own opinion on there too. So I put my glasses on and I watched it, okay? And I took some notes here. I took some notes here, okay? Just for you guys because I knew you guys, well, you guys already have asked me. Some of you nosy ladies already also tagged me on my Facebook group telling me to, Isha, can we just please talk about this? And I'm like, okay, if you say so. So here I am. I took some notes because I've watched it for you guys. Another thing, other than Oprah's artificiality, I kind of dislike how Harry, for the most part, was just silent. Okay, I don't know how I feel about that. Now let's be very honest, this is my channel, I talk to you guys, I can talk whatever I like, I talk about a lot of things, I'm very bold with my statements and I stand by them. However, when you are with your man or with your father or even with your brother, okay, no, brothers you can always go away with whatever, but when you're with like your man, even like your father, uncle, male friends, you tend to have more like a filter, or you talk a little less, don't you? Well, at least with me, yes. If my man is next to me, I am not taking over, talking and answering everything. It's all about me. No, other than the wedding day, it's never always all about me. Like, I'm very well aware of that. So Mr. Harry being silenced for the most part was a little unusual. It's not something that I liked to see, to be honest. And there's this one thing that he had said, which is, I was afraid history would repeat itself. I didn't understand that. Okay, wait, you're scared of history being repeated, but then tell me one thing, then why in the first place are you sitting in this goddamn interview in the first place? Because isn't that repeating history itself, right? What happened to Princess Diana? Okay, we're not gonna go there, but let's just talk about that for a while. She gave an interview in her last days, I remember. I mean, I don't remember, I was too young, but that famous interview of hers in her last few days, right? So in that interview, she had actually gone against the wishes of the whole family to do the interview in the first place. And then after that, we all know what happened. So why are you sitting in this interview then? You're kind of repeating history yourself. The next step when you get out of the interview, well, we don't know what's going to happen to you, but I'm glad it's been like, what, 2-3 days, nothing happened. So okay, we're fine, we're safe, that's good to know. However, don't say you're scared of history being repeated itself when you're sitting there in the first place doing the same steps that were in the history, if that makes sense. That's another point I kind of disliked so much. Disclaimer, if you're wondering why I have so much makeup on, it's because I had a makeup class. You guys know I teach makeup. So all of you guys who learn makeup from me, I am so happy always teaching you guys new makeup tips and techniques and tricks and all of that. And if you want to book yourself with me and do my sessions one-to-one, you can book your sessions on the link given in the description. Just go to 𝗓𝗏𝗡𝗠𝗏𝗡𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 and you'll be able to book me there anyway. Now let's get back to the video. Another point she had mentioned was like she was very struggling with the tabloids, the magazines. Okay, fine. If I'm not mistaken, I've seen a few videos online and read a few articles also where it has clearly been mentioned that she works with PR and she has like people working for her, so they always like, you know, mention her in different articles and different newspapers and stuff like that, so they always know what's going on, right? And by the way, if you don't know, I'm sure you know, everybody's quite resourceful nowadays, and especially if you are like an influencer, if you are a celebrity, if you are a royal, then you have all the resources on the tips of your finger, okay? And you can just make a phone call and they would know what to type about you, they would know what to write about you and where to write that. So she has been quite smart with that. She's had people working for her writing things about her, okay? So tell me one thing now. You keep saying, I was so afraid of the tabloids typing things about me. Weren't you aware? Okay, let's say you weren't. Wait a minute. You married into royalty. Isn't that like what we all expect already? That yes, people will be after you, many things will be said, that everybody's attention will be on you. Of course you would know that. Isn't that like common sense for every girl anyway? Just come on, even if we all were like little girls, we were always thinking we marry a Prince Charming and everybody's gonna look at us and think about us and want to be like us. So what is that called? Exactly, it's called attention. So come on, we all know you would get all the attention, and attention is not always nice, by the way. I think nobody would know that more than Kim Kardashian. I mean, she's always had attention, right? But it's not always been the good one, if that makes sense. But it's still what it is. So you either make good use of that or you just cry about it. Depends what you want to do with it. You can't really help it though. Anyhow, that is obviously not a good comparison, but you know where I'm coming from, right? And by the way, not to forget, when you are a celebrity, I mean, this is something I cannot relate with anyway. When you are a celebrity, aren't you already like used to so much attention anyway? Aren't you like used to things written down in the press about you, which are not always nice to hear? Aren't you like used to that? Because that comes with the territory and that's a part of the game. And that is why every time I do my live sessions to motivate women, I'm always talking about this one thing, that no matter what you do in life, please make sure that you're very self-conscious and you're very well aware of the things that you do. You cannot be aware of the things that others are going to do or say or whatever is going to happen around you, but one thing you can be sure of is what you do, right? So be very self-aware of what you get yourself into, because Whether you're moving a country, whether you're getting into new friendships, whether you're getting into new relationships, you need to know what you're getting yourself into. And if it does not fit right, if it feels very toxic, or feels like, oh my god, wait a minute, if I do this, let me think about it, because I'm going to be facing this, I'm going to probably have to do this, I'm going to probably have to face this. Those are the signs you will probably always get in the beginning anyway. You can't act naive when you're 30, 40 years old and then just be like, I didn't really know. Because, oh, no. You cannot say that and get away with that, because that's what teenagers can do and get away with. You can't, right? And one thing I totally dislike the most about it is that, okay, wait a minute, everybody, maybe not everybody, but sometimes when you know, okay, you're marrying into monarchy, you're marrying into a sort of legacy, okay? I mean, how many royals do we have now alive anyway, right? British monarchy is like the most popular one. It's very legendary, let's just say, okay? So you are marrying into that. Oh, wow. But you want to discontinue the whole legacy. Ah, wow. I find that very rebellious. Why do you really want to do that? But okay, fine. Let's say you don't want to, live the way the royals do and stuff like that. But that's the whole point. We expect, I think everybody expected her to come as a princess and just show us being a great princess, how it is to be a princess, and just show us that good side, or even the bad, or whatever. But like, you just discontinued the whole chain, kind of, right? And how is that going to go down in history? Well, I'm not sure if that's going to be a good thing or not, because wouldn't you want your husband one day to be maybe the king? Oh no, you don't want to? Really? And can we also talk about how she always plays Princess Diana card? And that is always so mind-boggling to me, because she always says she didn't know, she was naive, she didn't know. Right. Okay, how do you know so much about Princess Diana? And how do you know so much about her that you always use that side to manipulate your pretty little husband? I don't understand that. I don't know if you guys cannot see this, or if you can, like, I really don't know. But come on, when people give interview and talk on TV, they're very well prepared, okay? They always know what questions are coming up and what to answer. And again, I mean, as we said, the way Oprah was literally behaving with her body language in the whole interview was a little bit over the top, a little bit dramatic, a little bit artificial. And maybe she prepared more than necessary this time for the interview, let's just say, right? Because, yeah, I mean, she always probably does prepare for all her interviews. This one was a little over-prepared, let's just say. And can't you just tell that she has brainwashed him just a little bit? Just a little bit, okay? Even if you like her, but just a little bit. She has, and I think this is maybe one thing we can learn from her, how to manipulate someone like this. Because the only things that come out of Harry's mouth is like, I just want to protect my family and I'm scared of history repeating itself. Is that all you think about? History repeating? Who put that in your mind? Why do you think that's gonna happen? Oh, somebody put that in your mind, isn't it? Who was that? It was your wife. Who else would it be? And just this whole statement of like, we don't want history to be repeated, and yet you're still sitting in that interview. Diana in her last days also did an interview she was not really technically supposed to do, right? If she had followed all the policies right, well, you're doing the same thing. The only difference is Diana really was the victim. You kind of are not. You're doing everything by choice, and you have put yourself in that position where I'm sure the family is like not even bothered to say, Harry, I don't want you to do this interview. Don't do that. No. I'm sure they did that with Diana. I'm sure with Meghan and stuff, she has already like made her circumstances in such a way that they're quite distanced, right? So nobody's gonna tell them what to do. Or okay, yeah, you're on your own, no problem. Aren't they disowned already anyway? Kind of, right? So they're not being told what to do anymore. So at least now, after such a long time, now stop being the victim. Like, why do this now? Okay, wait a minute. That's another question that I just thought about. I didn't have that in my notes, but wait. You're the victim. No, you're not the victim right now. You were the victim. So back then, you didn't do this interview. You never came public. You never came out of the closet. Why is it now? Is it because you got paid well for the interview? Why not at the time when you were really facing all of that? Because as I said, now you have all the circumstances in your favor. You've moved out, you've moved away, disowned, but making your own money or whatever. You're doing your own thing. Nobody's saying anything to you right now. Actually, the whole London had already kind of forgotten about them, right? Let's be honest. We've never talked about them again. The only people we do talk still about is Kate. We don't talk about Meghan anymore. Like, she's already been forgotten. The time she left, everybody said bye-bye, right? So now she wants to grab all the attention again. But at the same time, she's afraid of all the attention. That's what she keeps complaining about. We didn't like the attention was bad and it was toxic. And all those very eloquent words that they have used throughout the interview, like very mentally very toxic and unhealthy and all of those words, right? You say you don't want that, but at the same time you're here on national television. What for? Knowing exactly that now when you're going to be on national television, of course it's going to be international. Everybody's now going to start watching you once again. So that's why you're doing that? Like, what is the intention? I just simply don't understand. Forget whatever she is doing. Yes, everybody has the right to live the way they want and all of that, and I understand that. But at the same time, can we just also think and be considerate about the fact that we all girls know if we marry for money, there are certain circumstances we'll have to face and there are certain sacrifices you'll have to make. Or if you marry for love, let's say, then these are the set of problems you'll have to probably face and probably sacrifice and compromise on. We should always know these things. And when you are getting yourself into monarchy, when you are getting yourself into royalty, then you better be prepared to follow all the strict rules and regulations and the policies and the protocols and all of those things, you know, and not be so devastated when you just don't want to do it because it goes against your very nature. Why get into it in the first place and then try to break the whole damn legacy instead of just continuing that, you know? We are all public, normal people. We can decide and choose our circumstances in certain ways. However, when you are a royal, when you are a princess, there is different, it's a whole different lifestyle, you know, that we probably might not even have too much of an idea about. But it's different. I mean, we've all seen that in movies, right? They always have a different life than to normal people. But then you are saying you just want to continue just being a normal person. Then why become a princess in the first place? Like, that position should have been filled by somebody else who really would be a great princess. In my mind, I think that is what I would have expected. A girl to fill that position of a princess who really deserves to be a proper princess and that acts that way and lives that way. We all want to see that. And even like a few years from now, we would want to see a princess like that, right? And at last, let's just say, as girls, haven't we all like wondered how it is to be like the Duke and Duchess or the princess or the queen or whatever? Because, you know why? Because it is not normal to normal people. It's completely different. It's a completely different lifestyle. It's a completely different mindset. It's a completely different protocol to follow, whatever. It's certainly not like normal public people. But, well, she just wants to be a normal public people person. So, okay, good for her. But that's the question, like, why get into it? And I think that will always be my main problem with this whole scenario, because you're literally just going against something that's kind of normal in royalty, if I may say. And also another point, I know people will come for me when I say that, but another point, there was concerns regarding the color of my child. Okay, right. I am not sure what type of concern she's talking about. I'm sure there was no fight over that or anything like that, because if there would have been, we would have known about it, okay? Because she does speak about it. Anyway, there was concerns. All right. Listen, we're Asian people, and I'm just saying, I'm just a normal person, but I'm just saying, we're Asian people. Even when we Asians marry, and when one of the partner is a little darker or lighter, it's always a concern. It's always a question. Like, not a concern, but it's always discussed. It's always like a question. I wonder, you know, like, is the kid gonna be darker? Or is the kid gonna be fat like the mom? Or skinny like the dad? Or dark like the dad? Or like white like the mom? Like, it's always a little bit of a discussion in the family. It kind of always happens, and we are so used to that. It's so normal that we just don't even care about it anymore, right? Because it's so normal. It's like, yeah, whatever, get over it. So the thing is, you are into royalty. Of course they're gonna like talk about it, okay? So this is gonna go down in history, because listen, they're not normal people. There's other types of concern that we are probably not even, we can't even relate to that, but probably this is how it goes. Okay, so this is gonna go down in history. We would like kind of, let's just see, I don't know, I'm just wondering, what color would the child be? Is he gonna have ginger hair like Harry, or dark hair like Meghan, or is he gonna like have white skin, or is he gonna be a little brown like Meghan? Is it gonna be a son, or is it gonna be a girl? Listen, we normal people also always have a gender concern. Is it gonna be a boy or a girl? And this is us normal people. You're royalty. Of course it's gonna be discussed if it's gonna be a girl or a guy, or if it's gonna be black or white or brown or purple. Of course it's going to be discussed, right? Duh. It only makes sense. However, I do feel like she just doesn't like being there. So this is why she probably just picks out on these small little things here and there and just wants to make a big deal out of, like, literally just everything. Everything is a problem. Like, everything from start to the finish, everything is a problem. So when you have so much problems, that really just means you just don't want to be there in the first place. You know, because we all know when you don't want to be in a certain position or a certain situation, what do? You pick on small little petty things, you make a big deal out of them. That's what you do. And at last, she always does bring the race card into everything. It's like, leave me alone and I'll be fine and happy. But then it's like, we've already left you alone. We haven't even talked about you in ages. Like, none of us Londoners have. And yet you still managed to somehow grab all of our attention. We're talking about you today because you decided to finally do an interview. Tell all. So you got the attention. Now don't complain you didn't want this attention either. Anyway, on that note, guys, I think I shall go because this was just weird. I'm just so pumped with this. It kind of does make me annoyed a little bit also, but at the same time, that is also why I avoid this whole situation. You can hate me for all of this. I think as a lady, you can like a lot of things about her, but at the same time, few things are just so messed up. But anyway, do subscribe to the channel for more crazy videos. Thank you so much for watching, guys.